Hey guys, today I want to talk about why deprivation doesn't work and why your relationship to food is not the problem. That is not why you are overeating. Now, if you want to lose weight and you have used dieting in the past, you probably realize that it doesn't work. It's not a long-term solution because what happens when you diet is you try to eliminate foods, and usually these are foods that you like. You still want the food, the desire for the food is still there, but you're trying to use willpower to not eat that thing. Now, this will only work so long because you're tensing up, you're forcing yourself, you're white knuckling your way into following the diet. And again, this is exhausting, it's stressful, it depletes all of your mental and physical resources, and eventually you end up giving in and eating the thing that you're not supposed to have. So this doesn't work because when you take away a food that you enjoy, you haven't taken away your desire for that food. You still want that food, you still crave that food, you still have the urge and the temptation to eat that food, but you're not allowed, so you try to use discipline. And that, again, some people are better at discipline than others, but it is not something that we want to use. It's not something that is very kind and compassionate and gentle and loving to ourselves. And whenever you take any kind of action from a place that is forced or harsh or aggressive, it usually doesn't lead to very good results. That's across the board. So really, you have to look at, why do I desire this food? Why do I want this food? And now usually the things that we desire and the things that we crave when we're overeating are foods that are unhealthy. They're either processed or they're sugary or they're floury or salty. And these foods, we crave them because they change our physical state. They have an energetic shift. They create an energetic shift. And in Ayurveda, there's this deep understanding of the energetic qualities of different tastes. And sweet taste, for example, is very grounding. It's very calming and soothing and comforting. And salty foods too. Salty foods, they create a heaviness and a weightiness. And so many of us feel very ungrounded in our current lifestyle. We are overstimulated, overscheduled, too busy, and because our lives are all over the place and we feel overwhelmed with the demands that we've put on ourselves, we feel very ungrounded and we experience a lot of stress and anxiety. So sweet taste and salty taste help to counter some of that. Now, that's on an energetic level of why we go to those foods. But on an emotional level, we use comfort foods because we want to change our mental state. We don't like the state that we're experiencing, whether that is discomfort, whether it's stress or anxiety or loneliness or fear or worry or frustration or irritability. Anything that is an uncomfortable or negative emotion, we want to run away from. So the way that we run away from it is by eating food so that we can change our state, we can numb the emotion that we don't want to feel, and then for that temporary time, we have a break from that emotion. So really, it's not your emotion or your relationship to food that is the problem, it's your relationship to your emotions. Now that is, and if I lost you at any point, I want to say this again. I really want you to understand this. It's not your relationship to food that's the problem. It's your relationship to your emotions. When you resist emotions, when you push away emotions, when you escape them or you don't want to feel them, or you judge your emotions, you think your emotions are bad or wrong or they don't make sense or you shouldn't feel that way, that is not a good relationship with your emotions. And when you don't have a good relationship to your emotions, you're going to deal with them in an unhealthy way. And whether that is emotional eating or some other way of numbing how you're feeling. And there's so many different ways that we do this, and often we do it in many ways, not just one. So the counterintuitive thing is instead of resisting it, how can you actually allow for the desire to want to run away? And this is very subtle. So when you notice that you're wanting to go get a snack and you want to grab for the food when it's not a mealtime, and it is an emotional hunger, it's not a true physiological hunger, you can sit with that urge and sit with that desire and really question, what is the emotion and how can I actually be so loving and accepting and allow for the emotion that's there? I mean, treat yourself and treat your emotions as you would a best friend. Like, say your best friend came to you and was really sad. You wouldn't like push them out of the door and like close the door on them and be like, I don't want to see you right now because you have a negative emotion. No, you would listen to them. You would comfort them. Now, you don't want to comfort them through food, although you might want to be like, have a chocolate and you'll feel better. But that doesn't work, again, because that's really just perpetuating the whole cycle. Comfort yourself in the way that you can be with that emotion and tell yourself that this is what you're feeling and that's okay. You don't need to run away from it. Your emotions are powerful and they are indicators of what's going on in your mind. And when you can sit with them long enough to experience them and feel them, and then investigate deeper into them, then you can look at what is perpetuating these emotions. And then that sometimes, often, a lot of the times, gives us an indication of something in our life that needs to shift. And this could be a mindset shift, a belief shift, or it could be something that's out of alignment in your life that you need to shift. But we'll never get to the bottom of that if we are always like shoving it out the door and we don't want to see it and we don't want to feel it and we don't want to face it. So deprivation doesn't work because you're pushing a desire away. The only way for you to decondition that response to always want to get rid of it is to actually be with it. And if this sounds complicated, you might need to listen to this a few times or watch this a few times, because it is probably the most important work that you could ever do. Because your relationship to your emotions is an indication of your relationship to yourself. And your relationship to yourself determines how much confidence you have. How much confidence you have determines what you will make of your life. And if you will go after your goals and your dreams, and if you will back yourself up with what you really want in your life. This is huge. This is a way of living on purpose because you have the confidence to truly face what you're feeling and not make it a problem, not make it something that is wrong or shouldn't be there, but to face it, to address it, and to respond and not just react. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. This is truly valuable and deep and important work, and I highly encourage you to start looking at your relationship to your emotions and realize that food is not the enemy. Sugar is not the enemy. Dieting is not the problem. Diets in and of themselves are not negative. It's how you are dealing with them. All right. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.